It's September, and that means soup weather to me. If it does to you too, you're gonna love what I have for you today. This is Hungry Girl's Sassy Salsa Pumpkin Soup, a tongue twister of a dish that is delicious, comforting, and so satisfying. So if you'd like to see how this is done, stick around because it's coming up next. Hello and welcome to my kitchen. My name's Roy. I am a home cook, an amateur baker, and I am here on this channel sharing recipes that have helped me to lose over 125 pounds, whether those recipes are mine or someone else's. And today, surprise, surprise, is someone else's. I have all but run out of my own recipes for now until I get a chance to experiment with other things. So I am going to be doing more of other people's recipes from here on out. Now, someone had sent me this recipe a while back, probably because I enjoy pumpkin and I may have been looking for a pumpkin soup. Someone sent this to me from Hungry Girl. Now, I looked at Hungry Girl's website and I could not find this anywhere. So then I started to wonder, is this really a Hungry Girl recipe? And my detective work paid off. It is a Hungry Girl recipe. Apparently she did this on the show The Doctors, and I don't know why it's not on her website. But what I'm going to do is print this down below so that you have access to it. And I'm not really making any changes to the recipe as I found it, except for one little thing. I am adding just a little bit of chopped onion to this. It is not in the original recipe, probably because the salsa that we're going to be using already has some onion, but I'm bumping up that onion flavor. That's not part of the recipe and it won't be listed there, but you can do the same if you'd like. But to go over the ingredients that are in the recipe, I have some cooking spray here. I have 4 cups of chicken broth, and I just left it right in the container because this is 4 cups. Why bother messing up another dish when I can just pour it right out of here? I have here a 15-ounce can of black beans that have been drained and rinsed. You could probably swap out other beans without any issue. Here I have one 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree. Again, pumpkin puree, not pumpkin pie mix. Pumpkin pie mix has seasonings and also sugars and things included. You don't want that. I have here 1 cup of corn, and it's probably a little bit over. I did about half of a can, but it's a 0-bite food for me, so I'm not that concerned. I have here 3/4 of a cup of salsa. Now I'm using Tostitos mild, just in case Paul wants any of this. I figured I can't really make it too spicy, and I can always add more spice if I want at the table. But I'm using the Tostitos. Now if you scan it, the amount that comes up does add bites or probably even points. But fat-free salsa is listed as a 0-bite food. So don't just go by what you scan. Make sure, if you believe something is a 0-bite food, make sure you check the list of 0-bite foods. Because this was registering, I think 3/4 cup came up to about 2 bites or something, but then I double checked, and if you go by salsa, it's a 0-bite food. I have here 1 generous tablespoon of garlic. In the recipe, it's just a tablespoon, but we enjoy our garlic here, so I did bump it up a little bit. I have 1 tablespoon of chili powder, and chili powder, you're getting a lot of different spices and herbs in there, so it's kind of like a one-stop shop for all of your spices. And I have here 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. Oh, and I didn't even mention what this recipe is, although you probably know from the title and thumbnail. This is Hungry Girl's Sassy Salsa Pumpkin Soup. Say that 5 times fast, especially when your jaw's acting up. And I've made this before, and it's really good. I do enjoy it. One thing that you could do, which I'm not doing, but you could do, is add some shredded chicken to it, which would not add any bites or points depending on the plan you're on. But I've done that as well in the past just to bulk it up a little bit more. But we are going to make it as Hungry Girl made it, except for my little addition of onions. So let me shuffle a few things around and we will get started. Okay, so I have my small soup pan here, stock pot here, and I'm going to put it over medium heat, and I'm going to spray it with some cooking spray just to coat the bottom a little bit. And then I'm going to add in the onions so that I can get those softened a little bit before I add in any of the other items. And this will just take a couple of minutes for these to soften up. Okay, so it's been about 3 minutes and the onions have softened up just a little bit. They're going to be cooking for longer, so I'm not worried about getting them too soft just yet. And right now I'm going to add in my garlic, chili powder, and my cumin, and I'm going to stir that around. Now the reason you want to add in the spices now is because the heat is going to allow them to bloom their flavors, so it's going to give you a little more of an intense flavor than if you just threw them in with everything else. So we're just going to let this cook here just for about a minute. Okay, it's been about a minute. You're going to get a whiff of those spices coming up as they're warming because it's definitely enhancing their flavor, heating them up like this. Now we're going to add in our chicken broth, and we're going to bring this up to a simmer so that we can make sure that the spices are melding into the broth and flavoring it. And also you want the broth to be warm enough to help incorporate the pumpkin once we add that in. So it'll just be a couple of minutes to get this up to a simmer. All right, so this has come up to a simmer. It's got some steam coming off, some slight little movement going on in the broth. So now we're going to add in our pumpkin, and we're going to stir that in to combine it. You could probably whisk it in if you wanted, but it should incorporate fairly well as it warms up. Okay, so that's pretty well incorporated. I don't see any clumps of the pumpkin left. So now we're going to add in the other ingredients. I'm going to start with the salsa, corn, and the black beans. We're going to stir that all the way through, and what we're looking for now is we want it to come up to a boil. So I'm actually going to turn up the heat to medium-high just to get it to boil a little bit quicker. Okay, so we are at a boil now, and you can see when I stir it, it will come back to a boil almost immediately, and that's exactly where you want it. When it starts to boil, stir it, and then it comes back to a boil almost right away. That's the right spot to turn down the heat. I'm going to turn it to medium-low because now we are going to simmer this for 10 minutes and just let all those flavors meld together. So 10 minutes and I will be back. All right, so it has been 10 minutes simmering and our soup is done. As I said, you could add some shredded chicken. I might also add some turkey kielbasa, chopped up turkey kielbasa. That would be great in here too. But there you have it, the first soup of the fall season, but not the last. Joan from Joan's Pointed Plate has a collaboration planned for what she's calling Soup-tember. And that will be on the 18th, which is a Sunday. It's going to be at 9 o'clock on the 18th that it comes out. But make sure you hit that notification bell because in October, she has another collaboration planned for what she is calling Croctober. For the soup that on the 18th, I'm gonna be doing avgolemino, which is, if you don't know, a Greek lemon chicken soup. Delicious. And so that's the one I'm going to be doing for the collaboration. There is a bunch of channels that are part of that collaboration. So make sure you check mine out as well as theirs. You'll have lots of soup ideas for the cool weather. And in October, I'm going to be doing a crock pot chicken tikka masala. So you have those items to look forward to, some nice comforting cool weather foods. But for now, this is all you need to do to make Hungry Girl's Sassy Salsa Pumpkin Soup. Jaw's still not liking it, but it will like this. Now this makes 4 servings, and they're probably about 1.5 cups or so, depending on if you add more things to it, that will bulk it up a little bit more. I'd say 1.5 cups to 2 cups. Now when I received this recipe, it did say 3 points. Question mark, question mark, question mark. I am not sure where that came from. Maybe it was depending on what plan you were on at the time. But for me, when I put it into my recipe builder using what I used here, I am getting 0 Better Balanced bites or old WW Blue points. I am on the healthy Better Balanced plan, which is equivalent to the old WW Blue plan. So those are the bites and points that I give. If you don't have corn and beans as 0 bite foods, this will change obviously. But as of what I'm using and how I'm presenting it, this is 0 bites, 0 blue points. Now, if you're following calories, the calories for 1 serving of this is 219. And if you're following macros, the fat is 2.5 grams. The carbs are 40.5 grams. The fiber is 12.7 grams. And the protein is 12.8 grams. And again, that's for 1/4 of this as I made it. Now when you serve it, you can serve it as is, obviously. You can also top it with some cheddar cheese. I use the fat-free cheddar cheese so that I'm not adding any bites or points. Or sour cream of whatever variety you like. I end up using the non-fat Greek yogurt in place of sour cream. Again, adding 0 bites. If I ate this entire pot of soup, which I'm not going to do, but if I did, it would still be 0 bites for this entire thing. But again, that's on the plan that I'm on, which is the equivalent to the WW Blue. You put it in the recipe builder as you are doing it for whatever your plan is to get more accurate on your bites, points, or what have you. So there you have it, Hungry Girl's Sassy Salsa Pumpkin Soup. It's definitely going to take the chill off as we get into that cooler weather. As I said, I'm going to write this up underneath this video in the description box. I will also add a link to the site that I found that talked about her visit to the doctor's show and where she came up with this. But since I didn't really make any changes except adding a little bit of onion, which you don't need to do, I'm just writing it up as she did it. I will include the bites, points, calories, and macros in the recipe, but that will be linked down in the description box. Also down there, there's my recipe blog. If you're looking for any of my recipes, they are down in the description box on my blog. Also my Amazon storefront. If I've used anything that you're curious about purchasing, you can check that out there. My Fetch rewards, my Built Bar rewards, and my social media, both my Instagram and Facebook groups, are down in the description box. So go look down there and you'll find all sorts of information. And if you wouldn't mind, it would really help out my channel if you would like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit the notification bell. As I said, those collaborations for Souptember and Crocktober are coming up, so you don't want to miss those. And I don't want to miss digging into this soup while it's nice and warm. So until next time, bye.